ain't trusted no fucking cops ever since they arrested me for some other chick beating me up in middle school. That was bullshit.
That sucks. I used to get arrested all the time whenever I was a kid, like middle school especially, mostly because I looked older than I was and I was just in wrong places at wrong time.
I've seen pictures of you when you were a kid. You did look older than you were.
I used to have this friend and we were walking back from Campus Corner. So my mom was supposed to come pick me up, but she didn't. And she ended up running off with, I think it was the guy that did Smoke Signals, you know, that movie. Anyway, so she ended up like just kind of ditching me. And I was like, well, I guess I got to walk home. So I, walked across OU campus at like midnight. And this guy thought I was like prowling around and called the cops. And OU campus is who jammed me up. And then they just swarmed me. And I was like 13. I was like, oh my God, I didn't do anything.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that was like a nightmare. But it was shit like that, like all the time, But I did end up
walking while brown.
Yeah. That was before I started doing bad shit, but once I started doing bad shit, I learned how to do bad shit and was like, generally sneaky and
Was it one of those like, well, they think I'm doing bad shit anyway, so I might as well do it?
Yeah, pretty much. There was like the summer between 8th and 9th grade, and I was friends with these dudes like Tony and Steve.
Oh, they didn't have any weird fucking nicknames by that point?
No, it was just Tony and Steve.
There wasn't any fucking butt cheese or fucking face dick or whatever weird nicknames you guys like to give each other.
There was Snot Rag.
Anyway,
Snot Rag was cool. Snot Rag is still cool. Yeah, he's still my Facebook friend.
I'm sure they're all cool.
Yeah.
I'm talking about their weird nicknames. But anyway, continue.
Tony and Steve were like fucking, the bad kids. Tony's like listening to like 9 Inch Nails and shit. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. So, we broed down pretty hard. And then that whole summer between 8th and 9th grade, we would like figure out like horrible, terrible ways to get alcohol. And one of them was we would raid this bar called the fucking Mule Barn, and they had like drown night on Sundays.
In Minecraft.
In Minecraft. This was all in Minecraft. Mm-hmm. So we would go to, the Mule Barn in Minecraft and pull up in my buddy Cody's Bronco, and fucking they had these blue Rubbermaid containers with like white rope handles, and they had them like full of ice and beer.
I know what kind of buckets you're talking about.
Yeah. So they just like would cycle them through the back where they would fry chicken wings and shit. And since it was hot, they just had the door propped open, but they had all of those fucking, buckets of beer and ice. So we would like pull up in a Bronco, we'd run in, we'd grab one, throw it in the back. And then sometime during the week, we'd like just throw the fucking bucket back in the back of the Mule Barn, like whatever. Anyway, we did this like every fucking Sunday. Drown night is whenever you go and you pay $10 at the door and it's all you could drink long necks, like all night.
So that's what the buckets were for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just constant fucking buckitude. And I guess, man, Drown night was popular. It was
constant buckitude.
So anyway, it was every fucking Sunday. And then there was like the last Sunday before 9th grade started. Or it was my 9th grade year. It was like Tony and Steve's like 10th grade year. We were like, okay, dude, we're going to do this as the last time before fucking school. And then Cody was like, nah, dude, I got to go to school tomorrow. I'm like, we do too. Come on, dude. Don't be a wuss. And he's like, nah, dude, I'm not going to get in trouble. I got to go to school. Whatever. So Steve kind of wussed out too. He was like, nah, man, I gotta fucking stay here. And I'm okay. So it's just me and Tony walk down to the Mule Barn. It's just like 4 or 5 blocks away. We're talking about like it was like 2nd or 3rd Street, midnight. There's like nobody out there,
Yeah.
Oh, and keep in mind it was more like 10, like 9 or it was like 10, 11. But it's still a small town. There's nobody on the fucking streets, just total darkness. We're like, whatever. And we're like, dude, if we ever get caught, then, we have like the best defense. If we ever get caught, we're just going to drop our pants, start jerking off, and then that way we could just plead insanity. No, we were convinced that was going to get us off the hook.
This was obviously an idea cooked up by teenagers. What the fuck? I don't think pleading insanity works that way.
So anyway, we grab the beer, without a hitch, and it's just dark outside, we're just, yeah, dude, blah, blah, blah. And then we see one lone pair of headlights start like coming up the street, and it was the fucking cops. It was the dare cop from school.
It was the fucking dare cop?
Yeah, the cop that knew us, that sat in our classroom, and fucking, he knew exactly who we were. And so he gets out, he's got the spotlight on us, and his lights are all lit up. What do you boys got there? And so me and Tony just kind of looked at each other, kind of gave each other a shrug. We just kind of sat the beer down and undid our pants, and then
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And he says, "Oh, Mary Mother of God!" And he gets in his fucking car and he leaves. He fucking leaves. Seriously. I'm sitting there with like my pants around my knees like, did that fucking just happen? We're like, what the fuck? So, we just fucking grab the beer and fucking go back to Steve's. We're like, dude, did that just fucking happen? What the fuck was that? And then that was like the last time we ever did that, because like I ended up moving back to Oklahoma and, all those guys, So that was like the last time that we ever had that heist.
That cop never forgot that night. You realize that, right?
I just hope the statue...
That cop still has nightmares about that shit.
Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx. Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx. Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx. Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx.
Hi, my name is Sabrina, and for Halloween this year, I think I'm going to be a goth Bulma.
Goth Bulma? What about Naja of Antipaxos?
I could be Naja of Antipaxos.
And then I could be Matt, who is going to be Laszlo Cravensworth for Halloween.
You mean Jackie Daytona?
Oh my god, I should totally be Jackie Daytona. All right, it's either like Laszlo, Jackie Daytona, or Vampire Vegeta.
Vampire Vegeta would go pretty well with my goth Bulma, I'm just saying.
Yeah. We
should probably say the name of the show, though.
And this
is Sumo Punx.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. This is Sumo Punx.
God damn it. Yeah, that's who we are. We're Sumo Punx. Anyway.
Sumo Punx with the X for extra sex.
Ooh.
So, Aki Basho. Last 5 days, last episode we did was on day 1 through 10. This episode is going to be 11 through 15.
1 through 10 was a long haul. That was a lot.
Yeah, there's been a lot that's happened since then. Some of the front runners were no longer front runners by the time we got to the end of the Basho. But we'll get to that in just a second. First, let's talk about what's been going on with us and what's been going on in the world of amateur sumo. First and foremost, I would like to say I have finally figured out how to pronounce the name of that donation website. It is Ko-fi.com.
That's what I was thinking. So I heard people say Ko-fi and all that, but the way that they phrase their, they're like, buy you a coffee, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. It does make sense. So ko-fi.com/sumopunx if you want to toss us some tips for the fantastic performance we are giving you on a kind of weekly basis.
We also have like really weird recordings and other material that you might be privy to.
Yeah, we decided to use Ko-fi instead of Patreon because we just heard that it's better to the people who use the site. So we're gonna do it that way. We're working on getting some exclusive content posted on there for anyone who does want to make donations. That will become available to you. Bloopers and outtakes, which we have folders and folders of.
Lots and lots of like really bad stories. We're like, well, maybe we shouldn't put that on the internet.
That might get us arrested.
But you could pay to hear it.
It's not up there yet, but if you do decide you want to throw us a few bucks, you can gain access to that. Besides that, though, please remember, if you like the show, go ahead and give us a rating on whatever podcasting platform you prefer.
Yeah.
We also do want to remind you of the upcoming amateur sumo events around the U.S. and beyond. Take it away.
All right, we have the Beer City Sumo Open at City Built Brewing Company.
It's
so close.
I saw Gabe on, I think it was Facebook, actually like building the clay doyo.
Yeah.
And like sifting out all the rocks and stuff. At least I hope he sifted out all the rocks. Otherwise, that's going to be very painful.
But that's really fucking cool, just seeing, like, the whole construction. It seems like it would be a rather arduous task. So kudos to you, bud.
Oh, yeah. It's been back-breaking work, from what I understand.
Yeah. So anyway, this is going to be at City Built Brewing Company in Grand Rapids, Michigan, Saturday, October 1st at noon local time. Clay Dohyo!
Clay Dohyo!
Then, the All-American Sumo Classic at the Mr. America Sports Festival in Atlantic City, New Jersey, Saturday, October 8th at noon, local time.
That's the one that's being put on by Sumo Dan, right?
Yeah, that is Sumo Dan's. And there is just like a smorgasbord of tough Rikishi that are like competing in this. There's like all kinds of big names on there. So
you like a meaty smorgasbord?
You could go to Sumo Dan's Instagram page and check out the competitors. There's more and more being released all the time. Then we have Sumo Boot Camp, taught by Richard Neal of the Swiss Sumo Society, October 15th, hosted by the Midwest Martial Arts Group in Davenport, Iowa. This guy's been doing sumo for decades. He is a badass, and he is hilarious. Tons of great stories. Really badass dude. So if you want to meet someone that's hilarious, has a wealth of sumo knowledge, and has, lived it, travel your ass to Davenport, Iowa. I really wish that I could. I'm just too broke, but that would be fucking amazing.
This is going to be one of those opportunities that you rarely get in the U.S. without going to like California or Florida or Hawaii. Well, no, because there's no like people who have been in sumo for as long as he has anywhere else in the U.S. unless you go to one of those states where there's like Yama in L.A. and there's Waka in Florida, and there's, of course, Nishki in Hawaii, or even, you can't get a lot of this kind of knowledge without going to Japan. So if you're in the Midwest, this is a great opportunity, honestly.
Richard Neal is also putting on the Swiss Sumo Open International Tournament on November 5th. So there are going to be some people from the U.S. competing in that, and I've heard some names mentioned. There's some words around the campfire about some folks that are going to be heading up to Switzerland. That's going to be fucking cool. And then we have the Houston Sumo Open, hosted by Shogeki Sumo Club at the Tokyo Night Festival on November 12th at Lucky Land in Houston, Texas.
And we are going to be at that one.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be competing, and aren't you doing some kind of...
Yeah, Nicholas Ton actually reached out to me this past week and asked if I could help out behind the scenes, so that's what I'm going to be doing.
So, yeah, we will be at the Houston Sumo Open, and this is going to be cool because there are no weight classes. There's not going to be any regulation
completely
matches.
Open weight.
Totally open weight. The men's tournament will be double elimination, so I think 50 men max can register, and then women will be round robin, and 20 women max will register. So there's, I can't remember what the registration fees are, but like I said, all of that information is going to be forthcoming really soon. So just keep an ear out. It's going to be badass.
Yeah, and there's actually a cash prize. I know the Grand Sumo Breakdown guys are giving away t-shirts to the winners, all kinds of cool stuff. It's going to be at the Tokyo Night Festival, which is like a really fun event. So now that we have that out of the way, let's talk about last 5 days of the Aki Basho.
Oh man, it was pretty wild. Who would have thought Tamawashi, huh?
I don't know. I mean, he's been the Yusho winner before. It's not unheard of.
True, but he's always like, the guy that's like throwing sticks and the bicycled spokes of all of my guys, all of my fantasy picks. It's like, oh man, if this guy just gets one more win, gets his Kachikoshi. And then who ends up knocking him out? Tamawashi.
Well, see, if he's always beating your dude's asses, it makes sense. Every once in a while, he's going to win the championship.
True, but and he did, but I have to say, I have to give it to him, though. He worked his ass off for that. He fought fucking hard, and I'm really proud of the guy. I'm like, you know what? All right, you might beat my dudes all the time, but whatever. Kudos to you, Tamawashi.
I know there were a lot of people who were kind of rooting for Hokdo Fuji.
Yeah,
earlier in this Basho. Didn't really turn out the way that some people were hoping. So let's go ahead and see where some of our guys stand going into day 11. Who has their Kachikoshis? Who has their Makikoshis? Who's close to either one of those, just on the edge of defeat or on the edge of victory, having an okay Basho?
Yeah. So at the beginning of day 11, those with their Kachikoshi are Tamawashi, Hokdo Fuji, Takayasu, and Nishki Fuji. Those who have already earned their Makikoshi are Shodai, Takura Fuji,
you don't
and
have to say it like
Tsurugisho.
that.
Oh, I'm disappointed in him.
Why?
Huh? Oh, just because it's like, come on, dude. What the hell?
Okay, we can talk about that later. Who's close to their Kachikoshi?
All right, close to their Kachikoshi at the beginning of day 11 is Wakataka Kage, Toby Zaru, and Chiyashoma. And who is dangerously close to their Makikoshi, Chiyotairu, Aoyama, Yutakayama, Macy, and Matakiumi.
And what did I say about Matakiumi?
You did. Mm-hmm. All right, so we are going into day 11. And keep in mind, we're kind of like picking and choosing. The basho for us is like a salad bar.
It's like a buffet of choice cuts of meat.
And there's lots of meat. All right, so we're going to start with Tsurugisho versus Onosho. The showdown. Badoomps. Tsurugisho.
Oh, because both their names end in show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God
Yeah.
Tsurugisho has been balls deep in brutal failure this basho.
Oh.
He's only managed to get 2 wins by day 11. I'm not sure what the motivation was, but Onosho busted out 2 false starts before the actual tachiai, which must have just annoyed the shit out of Tsurugisho because he actually managed to slap Onosho down for his 3rd win, leaving Onosho on the verge of Makikoshi.
Maybe that's just what Tsurugisho needs. He just needs someone to annoy the shit out of him to make him do good sumo.
Tap his sumo rage.
Yeah.
God damn. Okay, then we move to Aoyama versus Okinomi. Aoyama on the verge of Makikoshi going into this bout. After struggling with Okinomi for a bit, Aoyama's ankle suddenly goes sideways, causing him to come crashing to the clay and straight into his 8th loss.
Ooh.
That looked painful.
I don't know. That was a really weird looking step. I don't want to say that it looked like he stepped like that on purpose because I'm not an ankleologist. So I don't know.
He stepped on it sideways. It was like weird and sideways, and he rolled it like inside. Like that was a bad twist.
I think I've just been reading too much about the dark side of sumo recently. I'm not trying to always say that everybody's always scheming during these matches.
But you never know.
Yeah, you never know. But, I have tripped over my own feet just walking down the sidewalk
Same.
before. So it is very possible that you can just kind of step like that.
You've seen me do that back whenever I used to be drunk all the time, and I would always roll my ankle, and I was always just like step.
That's different. You were like 78% whiskey. You had those fluid movements.
Yeah.
It's not good when there's bones in there.
True. All right. Then we move to Milgiru versus Takayasu. They struggle for a bit. Milgiru pushing Takayasu by his neck to keep him at bay before locking up head to head. Takayasu kept trying to snake his hand up behind Milgiru's head, possibly to pull him down, but Milgiru kept a firm grip on his wrist. Milgiru then tries the same tactic on Takayasu, which he evades, but all this did was give Milgiru enough room to push Takayasu back, slip his arms around him, and force him to the bales. They both struggled to throw each other out, but it was Milgiru who ended up taking a huge shitate nage on Takayasu, winning the match.
A huge shit tate nage.
Just dumped his whole ass, the entire contents of his ass. Tamawashi versus Hokdo Fuji. Both Rikishi go into the bout at 9-1. Hokdo Fuji damn near stomps a hole in the doyo before the tachiai, but it wasn't enough to ward away the demonic Tamawashi, who came at him lightning fast, grabbed him by the face, sucked out his soul, and then shoved his carcass off the dohyo. Mortal Kombat! It really was just like Tamawashi wins. Fatality. All right. Toby Zaru versus Ura. I think these guys went to like sumo school together or something. I had to look into that more. I heard something like that.
They do have kind of a similar style, don't they?
Yeah, they're both happy-go-lucky kind of guys.
They're both kind of squirrely. Yeah.
So Toby Zaru versus Ura was a battle of wits that even the crowd and the Kokugikon were excited to see.
Oh, yes.
The first few seconds of the match were a series of thrusts and parries, each testing the other's defenses. Ura makes a grab for Toby Zaru's leg, but he deftly deflects the dexterous daredevil. They trade shoves and then lock up for a bit until Ura tries to push forward and Toby Zaru responds with a slap upside his head. Both ricochet inch closer to the edge, struggling to gain dominance until Ura takes a chance on a throw at the edge of the Tawara, but just as he's going down, Toby Zaru grabs Ura's leg with one hand while holding on for dear life to his mawashi with the other, throwing Ura off balance and down to the clay, tumbling over his defeated opponent right into his kachikoshi.
God, I love seeing these guys fight. It's just so squirrely. Well, I guess Toby Zaru's monkey-y. Monkey-y?
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
not
they're
squirrel.
squirrely monkeys.
Oh my God, what would the... I just had an evil thought.
Oh, no.
What would all the Rikishi's personas
Oh,
be?
God, no. Well, I mean, I guess, like,
What would they be? Okay, so Toby Zaru's the monkey. He's the flying monkey.
Ura's kind of a Pooh Bear.
No, I know everybody says that, but I was actually kind of thinking maybe Ura's a tanuki.
But he just doesn't have that giant swinging sack like you see those
You don't
tanuki.
know that? You don't know what he's hiding underneath his mawashi?
Ura's giant swinging sack.
That's where he holds all of his power. You don't know?
That's not his mawashi wrapped around there. That's just his...
Oh, no. That might be going a little too far.
All right. Okay, maybe he's not a tanuki.
Personas, though.
I don't
Rikishi
know.
personas.
I don't
What do
know.
you think?
That
Okay,
sounds like a whole lot of fan art someone's going to make.
Let's start with an easy one. What do you think Terano Fuji's persona is?
He's like a grizzly bear. Or like, no. What would you say Terano Fuji is? A T-Rex?
A moose.
Yeah. No, he's that dude on fucking, he's Ludo.
Ludo.
Yeah, Ludo is Terano Fuji's persona.
Oh, you mean from Labyrinth?
Yeah.
I can see that.
So we go to Koto no Waka versus Ichi Nojo, and no more furries.
If you say so.
Koto no Waka charged Ichi's ass like he had something to prove. Ichi Nojo just seems like he's just relaxing after winning the last Basho because he's not moving as aggressively this time. But that's not to say that Koto no Waka doesn't have any skill. He was able to drive Ichi Nojo back even with his arms locked up by the behemoth and pushed him out of the ring even as Ichi Nojo attempted a last desperate slapdown. Then we go to Midori Fuji versus Daisho. That was over pretty quickly. Both were at 4 and 6 entering the match, and I think the struggle that Midori Fuji has faced during his first time in the Joy has him paranoid that he might not get his Kachikoshi. Yeah, he's just trying out some new tactics, that might be frowned upon by some folks.
Oh, you mean like that Hinka that he did to Daisho?
He delivers a Hinka to Daisho at the Tachi, grabs his arm, and throws him down all within the matter of like 2 seconds.
Yeah, well, maybe if Daisho were so great, he would know how to not get jammed up by a Hinka.
God.
I'm just saying. Yeah.
All right, Miss Henka Queen. Wakataka Kage versus Hoshoryu. Sekiwake versus Sekiwake. And Wakataka Kage delivers a very straightforward Oshidashi victory to gain his Kachikoshi.
Nice.
Sarana Umi versus Mataki Umi. Another battle of the Umis. This is only Mataki Umi's 4th Basho as Ozeki. He has been Kataban for half of those, including the July tournament in Nagoya, which probably to his relief saw him withdraw due to COVID halfway through, granting him the opportunity to keep his rank for one more tournament. But then, on day 11, Sarana Umi takes a Nodowa to the face before he twists off to the side of the charging Ozeki, and using his own momentum against him, he pushes Mataki Umi out of the ring, wrenching the rank of Ozeki away from him, like a dog snatching a slice of pizza off your plate while you're just trying to watch Game of Thrones, damn it.
You know she does that because you feed her off of your plate. I've literally seen you feed her your pizza crust before.
She was hungry.
That's why she wants it. I swear, you and your mom both spoil that dog rotten. But yeah, I totally called it. I didn't think Mataki was going to be able to keep his Ozeki for much longer, and see what happened. But that's okay. he can join the club with Takayasu and Tochinoshin, the beloved ex-Ozeki club.
Oh, man. I think if Mitaka Yumi could get 10 wins in the next tournament, he could go right back to Ozeki, though.
You think so?
Yeah, if he could do it, I mean, maybe he'll rehab that shoulder. Maybe he'll, fix whatever ails him. But if he could...
We'll see.
If he could get 10 wins in November.
We shall see.
All right, that moves us to day 12. We start with Ryuden versus Kotoweko. The sumo god saw fit to allow Ryuden to obtain his Kachikoshi by bullying Kotoweko off the dohyo.
Aww.
Harada Umi versus Tochinoshin. Tochinoshin thought he had bested Harada Umi with a slapdown, but the wily new kid recovered with the Nodowa before Tochi even knew what hit him, grabbed him by the belt, and power humped him out of the ring. I mean, that's pretty much what the move was. He just had belt, had neck, and then just jammed his hips, just threw his ass out.
Harada Umi's doing pretty good.
He really is. Then we go to Waka Motoharu versus Tamawashi. Tamawashi came in with the Nodowa attack so fucking brutal that at one point, Wakamoto Haru could almost see the top of his own butt cheeks for how far back he was bent. But somehow, Wakamoto Haru sprung forward like a slingshot and drove out the Yusho leader by his armpits for a Yorikiri victory.
Yeah, Tamawashi had him by the neck like, come for me, and he fucking
He
did.
seriously did. It really was like a piece of rubber because he just had him jammed all the way back and then just sprang forward and pretty much shoved him out. Nishki Fuji versus Toby Zaru. Man, Nishki Fuji was just fucking killing it at Maegashira 10 in his second ever Makuuchi tournament. He jams up Maegashira 1 Toby Zaru with the frenetic slap fight, but Toby Zaru just ends up being just a little bit more squirrely in this fight and pushes him out with an Oshidashi, tying them at 9-3 and second place in the Yusho race.
You know, I actually took a look back at Nishiki Fuji's sumo career.
Yeah.
Since, like, all the way back to when he first started. You know, he actually started pro sumo in November of 2016.
That's when we got together.
Yeah, that was when we got together.
Oh my God, Nishiki Fuji.
When you picked me up from the Greyhound station and I never left Texas.
Yeah, Nishiki Fuji is our relationship's mascot.
Aww. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Uda versus Midori Fuji. Started off kind of weird, almost looking like it would have been a mata if the Gyoji hadn't called Hakyoi. But I guess both Rikishi were ready for it. It just seems like Uda always has these like weird tachi-eyes now, or rather, all of his opponents act weird with him at the tachi-eye. Either way, Uda displayed superb sumo in this bout, waltzing Midori Fuji out in a Kimedashi armbar force out.
It did look a bit like a waltz.
It was very dancey. Yeah.
Oh God, now I'm just imagining Ura taking dance classes.
I bet he could dance. I bet he's got moves.
I bet that would be something he would be interested in too. Ooh, like a tango or something.
And I can see him doing some hip hop dancing.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
You know he listens to rap. You know he's just eating his cheeseburgers, listening to rap, fucking dancing in the mirror and shit. I could totally imagine him doing that.
I don't know. He's always doing these like weird little movements and like flourishes and stuff.
Oh, like when he wins and he puts his arms up like a gymnast. I love that.
Yes,
like little spider.
That. But I think he would be a good dancer. I hope that's something that we can see in the future.
I want to go dancing with Uda. Okay. Takayasu versus Waka Takakage. Takayasu brutalized Waka Takakage's neck and face with a series of pushing attacks before yanking him down for a Hikiotoshi victory and a runner-up spot in the Yusho race.
A spot that he shares with the two previously mentioned Rishi as of day 12 at least.
Day 12. Hoshoryu versus Shodai. Haas gets Shodai in a headlock fairly quickly off the tachi-eye. Shodai struggles to break free, but just can't manage to pry the Sekiwake off of him before Hoshoryu flips him over by his head, still in the headlock, in a Kubenage that leaves him flailing on his back like an angry turtle.
Hoshoryu is coming from Takayumi's Ozeki spot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck yeah.
And you know what? I think he can get it.
You know, I think you're right. I think he's hitting his stride, I think.
Yeah.
Taka Keisho versus Hokdo Fuji. This fucking bullshit. This bout was over so quickly and quite possibly changed the course of the entire Yusho race. At the tachi-eye, Taka Keisho jumps to the side and slaps Hokdo Fuji down. Up to this point, many people thought Hokdo Fuji had a chance at winning the tournament, but this was the turning point.
Yeah, it also made a few stuffy old men really angry, which is something I always enjoy.
Yeah, Katana Fuji had some choice words, you know. Whatever.
Apparently that is unbecoming behavior of an Ozeki.
So we're going to head into day 13. Harada Umi clashed with Kotoweko in a vicious brawl that could have been anyone's fight, but it was the timing and balance of Harada Umi's Hikiotoshi thrust down that cemented his victory.
Nice.
Next, I found Tochinoshin's Uwatanage against Okinomi to be very just aesthetically pleasing.
Oh, yeah?
It was just perfectly executed, and he just kind of like boop, boop, boop down.
Just some nice technical sumo.
Yeah, I dug it. I feel like Tamawashi just slammed down the back of Nishki Fuji's neck like a slammer pog at 6th grade lunch. I also kind of feel like he treated Nishki Fuji like an alligator that like got into his house and he had to like sprawl on top of him to stop him from wiling out. Either way, that was a brutal Tsukiotoshi thrust down.
What? Wait.
Yeah,
what?
he grabbed him by the back of the neck and just kind of just jammed him down like that. And then he like climbed on top of him like he sprawled like his chest on Nishki Fuji's back.
He was Steve Irwining him?
Yeah, he did. He seriously fucking did. Oh my god, he crocodile hunted him. Anyway, okay, Koto no Waka spanked the knob dog Takanosho pretty hard today. He charged through Takanosho's Nodowa like the goddamn Terminator. Koto no Waka threw his ass to the clay like he was a rowdy drunk getting thrown out of a medieval tavern. Uwata Dashinage win for Koto no Waka. Hokdo Fuji's
I love how the references in that span all the way from medieval tavern to sci-fi killer robots. Very good.
Hokdo Fuji's eye was all irritated today. He wasted no time in slamming down the flying monkey Toby Zaru. Wasn't even going to mess with it today. Tsukiotoshi thrust down win for Hokdo Fuji. Takayasu brutalized Kiribayama. Poor kid didn't even know what hit him. He got mauled by a bear. Another Tsukiotoshi win.
I thought you said we weren't going to talk about personas anymore.
You know, Papa Yasu is a bear. He is a Papa Bear. That's just who he is.
Papa Yasu.
He is. All right, my doppelganger, Nishiki, got his meat flopped by Hoshoryu.
I still don't think you look like him.
He looks like he's my relative.
Sure.
That's Uncle Nishiki. Yeah, but he got his meat flopped like hard by Hoshoryu. That was like a damn impressive Shitatanage. Like I felt that flop in my bones. Taka Keisho appeared to be fuming after his Hitakakomi defeat at the hands of Sekiwaki Wakataka Kage. He looked pissed. Like even his eyebrows were angry.
His eyebrows are usually angry.
Well, no, his eyebrows are kind of wily. You know, he's got very sensual eyebrows, but they were.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, they're like, you know, little caterpillars. Kind of got mind of their own. So we head into day 14. Terutsuyoshi went all Super Mario 2 and uprooted Harada Umi right at the Tachiai. Ashitori leg pick win. Poor Harada Umi is still getting hazed by all these Makuuchi fixtures. So
Wait, what does Super Mario 2 have to do with that?
You know, whenever you're like, you'd walk over those plants in Super Mario 2, you could like uproot like those turnips, or sometimes you uproot like a bomb.
I gotcha.
And, like, yeah, Super Mario Brothers.
I gotcha. But yeah, Harada Umi is, I think it's really in the last few days of the Basho that he really starts to feel what it's like to be a Makuuchi Rikshi.
Oh, hell yeah. He'll catch on to everybody's tricks. He'll know that Chiyoshoma's always going to hink at him. That fucking Midori Fuji's probably going to Katasukashi him. You know, he'll figure it out. Anyway, Wakamoto Haru took Oho's brutal Tachi like right in the face. You could hear it like crack. He managed to use the Nico style Weeping Willow and redirected Oho's onslaught to the floor. Uwata Dashinage victory for Wakamoto Haru.
The what style? What?
The Nico style Weeping Willow. It's King Ashura.
Okay.
It's an anime.
Oh, I know what King and Ashura is. I don't have as much experience with that one as you do.
Oh yeah, it was a really cool move though. It was pretty badass. You got to give it to Wakamoto
I will
Haru.
take
for
your
that.
word for it.
Sarano Umi reached into the very depths of his entire existence and managed to push out the mighty Koto no Waka. He racked up a flurry of impressive attacks, seized the moment, and executed well-earned Yorikiri win for Rada no Umi.
That's a flurry of attacks, not a furry of attacks.
God damn it. You and your, what's with you and furries today?
I don't know. It's just been stuck in my mind.
It's like that ICP song still stuck in my head.
Because you're a juggalo.
Psh. Tetsujin Tamawashi blasted Toby Zaru's ass out of the dojo with propulsive and devastating thrusts. Toby Zaru rolled ass overhead, and the Iron Man really made that monkey fly.
Just ass blasted him.
It just blasted ass. All right, Ura got his ass bowled by Kiribayama, who decided to forego his usual throws and went with strikes to destabilize the chaotic Pooh Bear. That Hatake Komi sent his ass rolling. He seriously was like a bowling ball.
Yeah, that's one of Ura's personas.
God damn it. Wakataka Kage made short work out of Hokdo Fuji, shattering his Yusho dreams. Poor guy gets hanked by Taka Keisho, then gets thrusted out by the angry hips of Wakataka Kage.
Wakataka Kage is basically Shakira.
Oh my god.
His hips don't lie.
Oh my god, I'm just thinking of Wakataka Kage trying to sing like Shakira now.
Just shaking his booty around.
Takayasu's Hikyotoshi pull-down of Hoshoryu was a bit anticlimactic, but a win is a win at this point. Taka Keisho and Nishki Fuji had a fucking slobber knocker. They slammed into each other like elk and rut or pissed off billy goats. No. We're going to get prehistoric with this shit. They were pachycephalosauri bashing their heads into each other until Taka Keisho decided to stop playing and slap Nishki Fuji down. Tsuki Taoshi win.
I think you just like to say the word Pachycephalosaurus.
Pachycephalosaurus.
And that's why you decided to go with that analogy. Because I'm pretty sure I've heard you say the word Pachycephalosaurus about 8 or 9 times this last week alone.
It's a good word. It's a cool animal.
Yeah, it's one that comes up often in conversation with you.
And Styracosaurus.
That too.
Anyway, man, I thought Takayumi had this one. I really thought he had this one. He got Endo all the way to the bales, but seemed to lack that last little bit of oomph he needed to push him over. Endo recovered and pushed out Takayumi instead. That fucking shoulder, man. It's just murderalizing him.
At least he got to be Ozeki for a little while.
Yeah, he might get it back. I got to talk about Takura Fuji versus Shodai. Takura Fuji busted out a Hinka, but Shodai caught his wily move, swung Takura Fuji's ass around, and drove his ass out while he was still stunned from being swung. So Shodai just caught that Hinka. Like, seriously, Takura Fuji hinked, Shodai just caught him, they kind of swung around, and he just drove him out. And it's like, where were you?
And that's what I'm talking about. There are Rikishi who can counter a Hinka.
Yeah.
If you can't counter a Hinka, the response shouldn't be, well, the Hinka's just not a good move because I can't win against it. It should be, let's learn how to fucking avoid getting jammed up by a Hinka.
I think like Hinkas are kind of like the shopping cart test of sumo. Taking your shopping cart back to the cart wrangle is like, the proper and respectable thing to do, but it's not illegal to not take your shopping cart there. It's just like the same thing. It's like not illegal to fucking, to Hinka. It's just kind of like not the thing to do, I guess, in certain circumstances.
Then why even have it as an option? Make it an illegal move.
And that's kind of like the thing that I was saying is like, I think it says more about someone's character on what rules they choose to follow and how they, and I think that's where like that whole grace and poise come from, especially, with Japanese culture at large. I was listening to Jake on Grand Sumo Breakdown talk a little bit about Ash Warren's book, The Way of Salt, and you should listen to that episode of Grand Sumo Breakdown. It's fucking great, and the book review is pretty awesome. I've read that book too, but that book really does kind of like break down the whole idea that when you do sumo, there's like a correctness to it you kind of have to adhere to, and you kind of get judged by how you adhere, to what that notion of correctness is. And that's why people are always like, I'm doing my style of sumo, or, my brand of sumo, because it's what they think is the correct way. It's their sense of correctness that they're saying is like their style of sumo. But, doing
so if
like
people are allowed to have their own style of sumo, then why judge someone who wants to incorporate the Hinka into their style?
Well, that's what I was about to say. Look at like fucking the smaller guys. I mean, that's how a lot of those David and Goliath bouts are won. But I think what they're saying is like, punching down, whatever. It's like a higher ranked Rikishi hinking a lower ranked guy, that's like, that's not the correct way. That's like kind of like a shitty thing to do. It's not illegal, but it's just highly frowned upon. But if you have like a lower ranked guy trying to, hinka someone that's higher ranked to, save his rank or, do something like that, it's a little bit different.
I do see that though. So if there's a higher ranked Rikishi, I can see how doing that to a less experienced Rikishi, since it is a move that some people have trouble countering, might be seen as kind of shitty.
Yeah. We've heard that argument before. If it's if that move is so frowned upon, then just make it illegal. But I think it's just kind of one of those things that just kind of shows what kind of Rikishi you are, like what type of approach, that you're taking to sumo. It allows you to kind of like, it's a tool, you could either use a tool to like, fix your car and like, go do something out of the goodness of your heart, or you could go and use that tool to fix your car to go run over some pedestrians. It just depends on how you use it, I guess.
Even fucking Hakuho has used the Hinka.
Oh, they talked about that on GSB
as a Yokozuna.
Yeah. Yeah, they talked about that in the reaction to it. Again, you guys should really listen to that episode. It's really cool. And you should read Ashbourne's The Way of Salt, because that's really cool, too. Anyway, I think that we've digressed from day 14 a bit. But seriously, that was a really impressive catch to that Hinka that Takura Fuji did. And that is why Shodai is the king, and you are all schmucks.
Oh.
No, not really. I'm just being needlessly fucking surly. But... okay, Shodai is going to be Kataban, but let's see what happens. Let's see what he does with it. Under pressure is usually when he does pretty well. So speaking of being under pressure, we're going to day 15.
Yes.
Aoyama versus Harada Umi. Harada Umi is Nanasho Nanahai going into this final bout with Aoyama. All he needs is one more win to secure his first Makuuchi Kachikoshi. Unfortunately, Aoyama wasn't going to let that happen and smacked down the junior Rikishi with the Hatake Komi, giving him more losses than wins for his first Basho at the top division.
That poor kid. He's just got that helmet hair like he's Darth Vader or some shit.
He does.
Maybe he just needs to join the dark side.
He should. I watched him like Force Lightning Aoyama in November.
Yeah.
But I think... hopefully that doesn't sink him back down to Juryo. I hope he just gets to kind of stay, at his current rank. So we will move on to Ura and Oho. Both enter the final match, Nanasho Nanahai. 7 wins and 7 losses. Ura picks a starting position a bit back from the Shikira-sen, coming in super low as he launches into the Tachiai. Oho grabs his arm and tries for a pull down, but is driven back by Ura's falling momentum and steps back and out of the ring. Ura wins this bout, gaining his Kachikoshi, but may have injured himself a bit as he was like wincing whenever he kind of, came up off the ground.
It looked like maybe it was either his elbow, his shoulder, or maybe his hip.
Something, I think maybe he just slammed into the bales a little hard.
Yeah, I hope he's going to be okay.
He made that, even though he won, he still made that, like, that pained Ura face, that Ura in distress face that he does. That kind of, I don't know why, I just love that face. I know he's in pain, but it's just too cute. All right, Koto Shoho versus Macy. Also Nanasho Nanahai going into their final bout, but the higher ranked Macy prevailed, winning by Hikake and adding an additional thrust down on Koto Shoho's butt cheeks just to be sure.
Hey man, you gotta press the booty to bless the booty. You gotta squeeze the booty to please the booty.
Oh my god.
You gotta shove the booty to love the booty.
Jesus, where did you get these?
You gotta slap the booty to crap the... Wait, no.
Yeah, don't crap the booty.
Dang, I was on a roll for a moment.
Nishki Fuji still killing it on the last day of the Basho, grabbing Koto no Waka by the back of his mawashi and tossing all 4 of his titties out with an okuradashi. He ends the Basho with a double-digit winning record, 10-5.
Nice.
Toby Zaru versus Taka no Sho. It took a bit to get Taka no Sho to submit, and a few kicks to the shin, but Toby Zaru was eventually able to Oshidashi his opponent out for a double-digit winning record and an Outstanding Performance Award.
He looked so pleased with himself afterward, too. It's so rare to even see a Rikishi actually smiling after a win.
I wonder if he's going to get like a little bit reprimanded for his like celebration.
He was downright glowing, and I'm sure that...
I wanted to hug him and just be like, good job, buddy.
That's just so weird how it's frowned upon to even smile.
Well, it's frowned upon to smile, but it's like you're supposed to be stoic.
Yeah, I get it, but...
We've had conversations about this before, unless we mentioned backflips. Anyway, it seems kind of bizarre to have a match between the two top contenders in the middle of all the other bouts, instead of like at the end. But that's how they decided to give it a go this time. And they've done that a few times before, where it's like not the last bout.
It's usually in these types of situations where there is no Yokozuna competing anymore, like they've dropped out.
Or like possibility of a playoff or something like that. Or something,
yeah.
So Takayasu gave Tamawashi a bit of swagger and some cheeky eyebrow action before crouching down to start the match. I noticed that. Yeah, that little eyebrow torch. He's like... I think he pumped his eyebrows at him, just like,
He pumped his eyebrows.
He pumped his eyebrows at
It was just a quick little eyebrow raise.
It was an eyebrow pump.
I don't know if I'd call it a pump.
It was an eyebrow pump. He just pumped him.
That sounds dirty.
He looked at Takayasu looked at Tamawashi like, you're going to get pumped.
Oh, no.
It did. Just pumped his God. All right, there was a satisfying smack of meat at the Tachi. Both men struggled for dominance, but it was Tamawashi who was able to turn Takayasu around and push him out for the win.
Yay!
If Takayasu had won, they would have definitely had to go one more round to determine the winner, but their fate was already sealed. Takayasu may have once again had the Yusho win snatched from his grasp, but he still ended up with the 6th Fighting Spirit Award, his 6th Fighting Spirit Award. Tamawashi, as well as winning the Yusho, also got an Outstanding Performance Award because that was really fucking impressive. Like, seriously impressive.
Yeah, I don't think anybody could have predicted at the beginning of this Basho that that's the way it would have gone.
I don't know, man. I've gotten onto the sumo meme subreddit. I've gone on to the, the Discord. And who was it? I can't remember. I think it was in Nemo's Discord server where someone was like, nah, dude, it's going to be Tamawashi. It might have actually been Nemo himself. But someone was standing Tamawashi from the beginning. And I bet they're probably like pointing at it. It's like, told you, motherfuckers. Anyway, we then get to see Daisho versus Hokdo Fuji. Man, poor Hokdo Fuji. This Basho was cruel to him. Hokdo Fuji, who had been a top Yusho contender up until these last few days, seemed kind of skittish in this bout. Daisho, who was done quite badly in this Basho, beat Hokdo Fuji about the head and ass before tossing him out of the ring. If he had won the match, he would have gotten the Fighting Spirit prize.
Man, they just had to crush his dreams a little bit more, didn't they?
That's just fucked up. It's like, God damn.
As if he hadn't already been through enough.
He's got to rub his nose in it. Shit. Man, we just need to take him to the bar and go dance around a pineapple pen with them and just hopefully make him feel better.
Get Ura to do a booty dance for him.
Oh my God, an Ura booty dance. I would pay to see that. All right, Hoshoryu and Endo both go into their last match, Nana Sho, Nana Hai. Hoshoryu jumps to the side off the Tachi, grabbing Endo's Mawashi, swinging him around a few times and tossing him out with an Oshi Taoshi win, and finally, his Kachi Koshi.
See, nobody says shit when Hoshoryu busts out a Henka.
I know, right? That's like, I mean, he's a wily Rikishi,
Double standards.
Waka Taka Kage then destroys Sarana Umi for an ending record of 11-4 and the Technique Award, the Gino Show.
Nice. Waka Taka Crab Cakes.
Waka Taka Crab Cakes?
Sure.
Oh my God, I'm calling him that now.
That boy's got so many weird nicknames now.
Yeah, Waka Taka Crab Cakes is actually kind of cute. All right.
I'm hungry.
Mataki Yumi seems to be just going through the motions now because he has no match at all for Wakamoto Haru, ending the Basho with 11 losses after losing his Ozeki rank. Wakamoto Haru, however, did quite superbly, ending the tournament with 10-5. So here we go with our high fantasy sumo picks.
Oh, we're gonna tally up our fantasy sumo and see who got the higher score.
Yes.
I don't know. I think that, nobody wants to hear how we did on our fantasy sumo. Let's just go ahead and skip to the end now. This is the end of the show, everyone. Bye. I don't like that laugh. Actually, I kind of do like it. Kind of starting to flood my basement a little bit.
All right. Well, let me go ahead and get this out of the way before I rectify that.
Call the plumber.
I heard you need a plumber. All right. It's not that kind of fantasy sumo. It's high fantasy sumo.
No. We're trying not to be pervs about our fantasy sumo this time. Remember?
All right. So cue the Iron Maiden. All right, here we go. So my fantasy sumo picks were Terano Fuji, Taka Keisho, Waka Takakage, Ichi Nojo, Koto no Waka, Nishki Fuji, and Ichi Yamamoto.
All right. What was your total final score?
56. I didn't win shit anywhere. I didn't win Sumo Kaboom's bingo. I didn't win fucking any of my fantasy sumo pools. Like, I was just dead in the water everywhere on all sides. Okay, so in Nemo's fantasy sumo pool, it was Sean from Dallas Sumo Club. Sean Bird.
Oh, nice.
I think he won.
Oh, and then Jared Tadlock won the
Sumo
Hachikoshi
Kaboom.
bingo
Yeah.
with Sumo Kaboom.
That's
Dallas
pretty
is
fucking
just
cool.
killing it at this basho.
Jeez, but man, I'm just sitting there like, fucking without shit, like I didn't win anything anywhere, but it was an exciting basho. I guess I got that.
Well, I had, of course, Terano Fuji, then Shodai, Hoshoryu, Kiribayama, Midori Fuji, Koto Shoho, and Harada Umi. And I ended this basho at 47 points. Which is like what, my third or fourth basho losing to you in fantasy sumo.
Oh. You've beaten me before at other things, and you've also won the Sumo Kaboom. You've tasted that sweet. What was it? Was it peach jam? The peach jam of victory. That was.
I have
really
tasted the peach
good.
jam of victory. That is true.
All right, so that was the 2022 Aki Basho. Lots of excitement, lots of unpredictable wildness just coming out of the woodwork. Fucking Tamawashi, who'd have thunk it? There's a lot of stands out there. I know you're probably going to be like, I could have told you that, but I wouldn't have been hearing it at the time. I totally thought like it was just going to be another Terano Fuji, and when he pulled out, I was just like, ooh, it's anybody's game now. So hopefully Tamawashi, being like one of the older, I think he's like the oldest champion in Makuuchi.
Isn't he like 38?
He's almost 38. He's like 37. So he's like our age. It's funny hearing people talk about Tamawashi like he's like, all old and venerable, but he's like 2 years younger than me.
Yeah, he's like my age. Almost exactly.
It's like, come on, Tamawashi, let's go talk about millennial things. Anyway, so yeah.
How much do you pay for your rent?
Yeah, Tamawashi, how about you break us off with some of that prize money?
I don't know.
Pay my rent, Tamawashi.
It's probably a lot different in Japan than it is here.
So that is the end of the Basho coverage, and we have lots of other wild things that we're going to be, lots of projects we are undertaking. All right, so if you want to find us on social media, we are at Sumo Punx on the Instagram, the Facebook, all of that sort of thing, except for the Twitter, where we are at Punx Sumo.
Because I fucked up the Twitter.
Because she fucked up the Twitter. And that's kind of where, I don't know, I talk to more people on Twitter than pretty much anywhere. Sabrina talks to more people on Instagram than anywhere. And then we both just kind of like...
Ignore the Facebook page?
Yeah. I get on there. I talk to folks on the Facebook page.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh, we have a Facebook group, too. I don't think I mentioned
about
that before.
Yeah, there's a Facebook group. I don't know what we're going to do with it, but we're probably going to do really weird shit with it.
Yeah, mostly just talk shit.
Yeah. Check out our Redbubble. We have some really cool designs that I am super proud of, including the Movie Mulligan one. And
still working on that newest design.
Yeah,
Hopefully that'll be up within the next week or so.
I'm gonna hype it up. It's gonna be a good one.
Yep.
And
also don't forget to give us a rating.
give us a rating. Give us a 5-star rating. Why not? What have you got to lose?
All the stars.
Yeah. So that is the end of our show, and thank you guys so much for sticking with us to the end of this fantastic Aki Basho.
That's all, folks. Bye.
Bye.